Consistency is the hidden force that shapes our lives, the silent architect of our success. It's not about grand gestures or fleeting moments of inspiration. No, it's about the small, daily actions that compound over time, creating a foundation so strong that nothing can shake it. Today, we're going to talk about why you need to force yourself to be consistent and how doing so can transform every aspect of your life. Think about the greatest achievements in human history. The pyramids weren't built in a day. They were constructed stone by stone, day after day, year after year. The same principle applies to your life, your goals, and your dreams. Success isn't a lightning strike. It's not a sudden burst of good fortune. Success is the result of showing up. Day in and day out, rain or shine, it's about doing the work when no one's watching, when the motivation has faded, when it feels like you're not making any progress at all. But here's the secrets. Every single action you take matters. Every time you choose to stick to your plan, to follow through on your commitments, you're building momentum. You're creating a force that will carry you forward even when the going gets tough. And make no mistake, the going will get tough. That's why you need to force yourself to be consistent. Now, I know what you're thinking, but it's hard to be consistent. Life gets in the way. I get tired, discouraged, distracted, and you're right. Consistency isn't easy. If it were, everyone would be wildly successful. But that's exactly why it's so powerful. Because when you master consistency, you set yourself apart from the crowd. You become unstoppable. Let me tell you a story. There was once a man who decided to write a book. He wasn't a professional writer. He had a full-time job, a family, and all the usual demands of life. But he made a commitment to write just 300 words every single day, no matter what. Some days those 300 words flowed easily. Other days it was like pulling teeth, but he stuck to it. Day after day, week after week, month after month. And you know what happened. After a year, he had written over 100,000 words. He had a complete manuscript, all from just 300 words a day. That's the power of consistency. Now imagine applying that same principle to your life, to your career, to your relationships, to your health. What could you achieve if you committed to small, consistent actions every single day? The possibilities are limitless. But here's the catch. You have to force yourself to be consistent. It won't happen by accident. You won't wake up one day and suddenly find that you become a paragon of consistency. No, you have to make a conscious choice every single day to show up and do the work. It's about creating habits so ingrained that they become part of who you are. It's about setting up systems that make it easier to stay on track. It's about holding yourself accountable, even when no one else is watching. And most importantly, it's about pushing through. When every fiber of your being wants to give up, start small. Don't try to change everything at once. Pick one area of your life where you want to see improvement. Maybe it's your fitness. Maybe it's your work. Maybe it's a personal project. Choose one small action that you can commit to doing every single day. If you want to get in shape, don't start by promising yourself you'll go to the gym for 2 hours every day. Start with 5 push-ups. Every morning, no matter what, 5 push-ups. It might seem insignificant, but remember, it's not about the individual action. It's about building the habit of consistency. Once you've mastered that small habit, aid another and another, slowly but surely, you'll build a network of consistent actions that will transform your life. But here's the thing. Consistency doesn't yield instant results. It's like planting a seed. You don't see the growth happening underground, but it's there. And one day, seemingly out of nowhere, a sprout appears. And then it grows and grows, and before you know it, you have a mighty oak tree. Your consistent actions are those seeds. You might not see the results right away, but trust me, they're there. Every time you show up, every time you do the work, you're creating something powerful. You're creating a new you that follows through. A you that keeps promises, especially the promises you make to yourself. Now let's talk about the obstacles you'll face. Because make no mistake, there will be obstacles. There will be days when you don't feel like it. When you're tired or stressed or just plain unmotivated. These are the moments that define you. These are the moments when you have to force yourself to be consistent. When motivation is fleeting, it comes and goes. But discipline is reliable. It's always there, waiting for you to tap into it. So when the motivation fades, and it will, lean on your discipline. Remind yourself why you started. Remind yourself of the person you're becoming through your consistent actions. And here's a powerful trick. Don't break the chain. Get yourself a calendar, and every day that you complete your consistent action, mark it off. As the days go by, you'll see a chain of marks forming. Your job is simple. Don't break the chain. The longer the chain gets, the more motivated you'll be to keep it going. It becomes a game, a challenge to yourself. And before you know it, you've built a habit that's changing your life. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. There will be days when life throws you a curveball, when your plans get disrupted, when everything seems to be working against you. But that's when consistency becomes even more important. You see, anyone can be consistent when things are going well. The real test comes when life gets tough. That's when your commitment to consistency will set you apart. That's when you'll prove to yourself what you're really made of. And here's the beautiful thing. The more consistent you are, the easier it becomes. It's like building a muscle. At first it's hard. It takes effort. But the more you do it, the stronger that muscle becomes. Eventually, being consistent becomes second nature. It becomes part of who you are. You become the kind of person who follows through, who keeps their word, who achieves their goals. The most successful people you know, the ones who've achieved great things in their field, I guarantee you, they didn't get there through sporadic bursts of effort. They got there through consistency, through showing up day after day and putting in the work. Take any great athlete. They didn't become great by practicing whenever they felt like it. They became great by practicing every single day, rain or shine, whether they felt like it or not. They forced themselves to be consistent, and that consistency paid off in a big way. The same principle applies to business. The most successful companies aren't the ones that have occasional flashes of brilliance. They're the ones that consistently deliver value to their customers, day in and day out. They're the ones that have systems and processes in place to ensure consistency in everything they do. They don't rely on luck or inspiration. They rely on consistency. In your personal life, consistency is just as important. Think about the strongest relationship you have. I bet they're built on consistency, on showing up for each other day after day, on small, consistent acts of kindness and love. It's not about grand gestures or occasional efforts. It's about being there consistently through thick and thin. Now I want you to think about your own life. Where could you benefit from more consistency? Where have you been relying on sporadic effort instead of steady, consistent action? Maybe it's in your work. Maybe you've been waiting for inspiration to strike before you tackle that big project. But what if instead you committed to working on it for just 30 minutes every day, no matter what, even if you don't feel inspired? Even if you don't think you're making progress, just 30 minutes every single day. Or maybe it's in your personal development. Maybe you've been meaning to read more or learn a new skill, but you keep putting it off waiting for the right time. Well, here's a secret. There is no right time. There's only now. So commit to reading just 10 pages every day, or spending 15 minutes learning that new skill. Every single day, without fail. Force yourself to be consistent and watch as these small actions compound over time, leading to massive results. The key is to make it non-negotiable, to treat it like brushing your teeth. You don't decide each morning whether or not you're going to brush your teeth. You just do it. It's part of your routine. That's how you need to approach your consistent actions. They're not optional. They're not something you do when you feel like it. They're something you do, period, every single day, no matter what. And here's another powerful aspect of consistency. It builds trust, trust in yourself, and trust from others. When you prove to yourself that you can be consistent, that you can follow through on your commitments, you build self-confidence. You start to believe in yourself more. You start to see yourself as someone who gets things done. And when others see your consistency, they start to trust you more too. They know they can rely on you. They know that when you say you'll do something, you'll actually do it. This can open up incredible opportunities in your personal and professional life. But remember, consistency isn't about perfection. It's not about never making mistakes or never having off days. It's about getting back on track as quickly as possible when you do slip up. It's about not letting one missed day turn into 2 or 3 or a week. If you miss a day, don't beat yourself up about it. Just get back on track the next day. Remember, it's not about the individual action. It's about the long-term habit. One missed day doesn't negate all your previous efforts. It's what you do next that matters. The rewards of consistency. Because make no mistake, the rewards are immense. When you force yourself to be consistent, you're essentially reprogramming your brain. You're creating new neural pathways, new habits that will serve you for the rest of your life. You'll start to see progress in areas where you've been stuck for years. You'll break through plateaus. You'll achieve things you never thought possible. All because you had the courage and discipline to show up day after day and do the work. And here's the really exciting part. Consistency compounds. Just like compound interest in finance, consistent actions in your life will yield exponential results over time. The progress might seem slow at first, but if you stick with it, you'll reach a tipping point where your results start to snowball. Think about it like this. If you improve just one every day, after a year you'll be 37 times better than when you started. That's the power of consistency. Small daily improvements add up to massive changes over time. But it's not just about the end result. The process itself is rewarding. When you force yourself to be consistent, you're building character. You're becoming the kind of person who follows through, who keeps their word, who achieves their goals. And that in itself is incredibly fulfilling. You'll start to feel a sense of control over your life. Instead of being at the mercy of your whims and emotions, you'll be driving your own progress. You'll be actively shaping your future, one consistent action at a time. And as you start to see the results of your consistency, your motivation will grow. Success breeds success. Each small win will fuel you to keep going, to stay consistent, to push even harder. It becomes a virtuous cycle. The more consistent you are, the more results you see. The more results you see, the more motivated you become to stay consistent. Now, I want you to take a moment and imagine your life a year from now if you start being consistently consistent today. Imagine the progress you could make in your career, the improvements in your health and fitness, the growth in your relationships, the new skills you could master, the goals you could achieve. All of that is within your reach. But it starts with a decision to force yourself to be consistent, a decision to show up day after day and do the work. It won't be easy. There will be days when you want to quit, when you don't see the progress you were hoping for, when life gets in the way and throws you off track. But those are the moments that define you. Those are the moments when you have to dig deep and remember why you started. Remember, every great achievement in history was the result of consistent effort. The Great Wall of China wasn't built in a day. It was built brick by brick, day by day over years. Your dreams, your goals, they're no different. They'll be achieved through consistent daily action. Why challenge? Is choose one area of your life where you want to see improvement. Choose one small action that you can commit to doing every single day. And then do it, no matter what. Rain or shine, motivated or not, do it. And then do it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after that. Force yourself to be consistent. Make it non-negotiable. Make it as much a part of your daily routine as breathing. Do this, and I promise you, your life will change. Not overnight, but over time. And when you look back a year from now, you'll be amazed at how far you've come. All because you had the courage and discipline to force yourself to be consistent. Success is not about intensity. It's about consistency. It's not about doing extraordinary things. It's about doing ordinary things consistently well. It's about showing up day after day and putting in the work. It's about forcing yourself to be consistent, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. So start today. Start now. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because it will never come. The perfect moment is now. The perfect moment is whenever you decide to begin. Force yourself to be consistent. Make it your mantra. Make it your way of life, because when you do, you'll unlock a power within yourself that you never knew existed. You'll become unstoppable. And years from now, when you've achieved your goals, when you become the person you've always wanted to be, you'll look back on this moment, the moment when you decided to force yourself to be consistent, and you'll realize that this was the turning point. This was the moment everything changed. So take that first step. Make that commitment yourself. Force yourself to be consistent and watch as your life transforms, one consistent action at a time. Remember, the power is within you. The potential is within you. All you need to do is unlock it through consistency. So go out there, be consistent, and create the life you've always dreamed of. Your future self will thank you for it. The choice is yours. The power is yours. The future is yours. All you need to do is be consistent. So go out there and make it happen. Your journey to greatness starts now, with one consistent action at a time. Consistency is the key that unlocks all doors. It's the force that moves mountains, the power that changes lives. And it's within your reach. All you need to do is reach out and grab it. Force yourself to be consistent and watch as your wildest dreams become your everyday reality. So I ask you, what will you do consistently? starting today. What small action will you commit to no matter what? Choose it now. Commit to it now. And then go out there and do it. Not just today, but every day. Force yourself to be consistent, and you'll force your life to change for the better. The world is waiting for the best version of you, the version that's consistent, reliable, stoppable. So go out there and become that person, one consistent action at a time. Remember, consistency isn't just about what you do. It's about who you become in the process. It's about becoming the kind of person who follows through, who keeps their word, who achieves their goals, and that kind of personal growth is priceless. So embrace the power of consistency. Embrace the challenge of forcing yourself to show up every day. Embrace the journey of becoming the best version of yourself. Because when you do, you'll unlock a level of success and fulfillment you never thought possible. Your future is in your hands. Your success is in your hands. And the key to unlocking it all is consistency. So go forth, be consistent, and create the life you've always dreamed of. The world is waiting for you to show up consistently and share your gifts. Don't keep it waiting any longer. Start now. Be consistent now. Force yourself to be the person you know you can be. Because when you do, there's no limit to what you can achieve. The power of consistency is yours for the taking. So take it, use it, and transform your life one consistent action at a time. And remember, consistency isn't just about the big things. It's about the small, everyday actions too. It's about consistently being kind to others. It's about consistently taking care of your health. It's about consistently learning and growing. These small, consistent actions add up over time to create a life of meaning and purpose. The people you admire most, the ones who've made a real difference in the world, I bet they didn't achieve their goals through sporadic bursts of effort. No, they got there through consistent, dedicated action. They forced themselves to be consistent, day in and day out, even when it was hard, especially when it was hot. Consider someone like Thomas Edison. He didn't invent the light bulb on his first try. It took him over 1,000 attempts before he succeeded. But he didn't give up. He showed up to his lab every day, consistently working towards his goal. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways it won't work." That's the power of consistency. It's about pushing through failure, learning from it, and trying again, and again, and again. Or think about someone like Stephen King, one of the most prolific authors of our time. Do you think he only writes when he feels inspired? No. He has a consistent writing routine that he sticks to every single day. He forces himself to be consistent, to show up at his desk and write, whether he feels like it or not. And that consistency has resulted in over 50 published novels and hundreds of short stories. These examples show us that consistency isn't just about doing the same thing over and over. It's about consistently pushing yourself, consistently learning, consistently improving. It's about forcing yourself to take action, even when you don't feel motivated. How you can apply this principle of forced consistency in different areas of your life. Let's start with your career. No matter what field you're in, consistency can be your secret weapon. If you're in sales, it might mean making a certain number of calls every day without fail. If you're a writer, it might mean writing a specific number of words daily. If you're a student, it could be reviewing your notes for a set amount of time each evening. The key is to choose an action that, when done consistently, will move you closer to your goals. Then force yourself to do it every single day. No excuses. No days off. Because here's the truth. It's not the occasional big effort that will get you where you want to go. It's the small, consistent actions that you take day after day. In your personal relationships, consistency is equally important. It's about consistently showing up for the people in your life. It's about being reliable, dependable, trustworthy. It's about consistently expressing your love and appreciation. It's about consistently putting in the effort to maintain and strengthen your relationships. This doesn't mean grand gestures or constant attention. It means small, consistent acts of kindness and care. A daily phone call to check in, a weekly date night, a monthly family outing. These consistent actions build strong, lasting relationships. They create a foundation of trust and mutual respect that can weather any storm. When it comes to your health and fitness, consistency is absolutely crucial. You can't exercise once a month and expect to see results. You can't eat healthy for a week and then go back to junk food. Real lasting change comes from consistent daily choices. It's about forcing yourself to make the right choices, day after day, even when you don't feel like it. Start small. Maybe it's drinking an extra glass of water each day, or taking a 10-minute walk, or eating one extra serving of vegetables. Choose something you can do consistently every single day. Then, as this becomes a habit, add another small, consistent action. Over time, these small, consistent choices will add up to significant improvements in your health and well-being. In your personal development, consistency is the key to mastering new skills and expanding your knowledge. Want to learn a new language? Commit to studying for 15 minutes every day. Want to become a better public speaker? Practice for 10 minutes each day. Want to improve your financial literacy? Read one article about personal finance daily. Remember, it's not about the amount of time you spend, it's about the consistency. 15 minutes of daily practice will yield far better results than the 3-hour crane session once a week. Force yourself to be consistent in your learning and growth, and you'll be amazed at how quickly you progress. Consistency in goal setting and achievement. Many people set goals at the beginning of the year, only to abandon them by February. Why? Because they rely on motivation and willpower, which are fleeting. Instead, focus on creating consistent systems and habits that move you towards your goals. If your goal is to write a book, don't just say, "I'll write when I feel inspired." Instead, create a system. Commit to writing 500 words every day, no matter what. If your goal is to save money, don't just say, "I'll save when I have extra." Create a system. Set up an automatic transfer to your savings account every payday. Force yourself to be consistent in these actions, and you'll find yourself achieving your goals almost effortlessly. But here's the thing about forcing yourself to be consistent. It's not always going to be fun. There will be days when you don't want to do it. Days when you're tired or stressed or just not in the mood. These are the days that matter most. These are the days when you have to push through, when you have to force yourself to be consistent. But here's the secret. Action often comes before motivation. You might not feel motivated to exercise, but if you force yourself to do it anyway, you'll often find that the motivation comes after you start. You might not feel inspired to write, but if you sit down and start typing anyway, the words will often start to flow. This is where the force yourself to be consistent comes in. It's about doing it even when you don't feel like it. It's about showing up even when you're not motivated. It's about sticking to your commitments, especially the ones you make to yourself. And here's another powerful aspect of consistency. It builds momentum. When you force yourself to be consistent, you create a positive feedback loop. Each small success builds on the last. Each consistent action reinforces your commitment. And before you know it, you've built an unstoppable momentum that carries you towards your goals. Think of it like pushing a heavy boulder. At first, it takes a lot of effort to get it moving. But once it starts rolling, it becomes easier to keep it going. That's what consistency does for your life. It creates momentum that makes it easier to keep going, to keep pushing, to keep improving. Now, I want to address a common misconception about consistency. Some people think that being consistent means doing the same thing over and over, never changing or adapting. But that's not true consistency. Real consistency is about consistently taking action, consistently learning. It's about consistently showing up, but being flexible in your approach. If something's not working, consistency doesn't mean stubbornly sticking to it. It means consistently seeking better ways, consistently adapting and evolving. It's about consistently moving forward, even if the path forward changes. So as you force yourself to be consistent, remember to also consistently evaluate your actions. Are they moving you towards your goals? Are they still serving you? If not, don't be afraid to adjust. The key is to remain consistent in your commitment to growth and improvement, even if the specific actions change. The role of patience and consistency. When you first start forcing yourself to be consistent, you might not see immediate results. This is where many people give up. They think, "I've been consistent for a week and nothing's changed. This isn't working." But remember the seed we talked about earlier. The one that grows underground before you see any sprout. That's what's happening when you're consistent. Changes are happening even if you can't see them yet. You're building habits, strengthening neural pathways, creating momentum. Trust the process. Be patient. Keep forcing yourself to be consistent, and the results will come. And when they do come, they often come in a rush. It's like compound interest. At first, the growth seems slow, but over time, it accelerates. The same is true for the results of your consistency. Keep at it long enough, and you'll hit a tipping point where your results start to multiply. So how do you stay consistent when you're not seeing immediate results? This is where your why becomes crucial. Your why is your reason for doing what you're doing. It's your purpose, your motivation, your driving force. When you're tempted to skip a day, to break your consistency, remind yourself of your... If you're consistently working out, your why might be to be healthy for your family. If you're consistently practicing a skill, your why might be to advance in your career. Whatever it is, make sure your why is strong enough to pull you through the tough days. Because on those days, when you have to force yourself to be consistent, your why will be what keeps you going. Now let's address another challenge to consistency. The voice in your head that tells you it's okay to skip just one day. You know the voice I'm talking about. It says things like, "You've been so good you deserve a break," or "One day won't make a difference," or "You can make up for it tomorrow." Don't listen to that voice, because here's the truth. One day does make a difference. One day can be the start of a slippery slope. One day can break the momentum you've worked so hard to build. Instead, when you hear that voice, counter it with a stronger one. A voice that says, "I am the kind of person who follows through." A voice that says, "I keep my promises, especially the ones I make to myself." A voice that says, "I force myself to be consistent no matter what." Remember, consistency is a skill. Like any skill, it takes practice to master. The more you force yourself to be consistent, the easier it becomes. The more you do it, the more natural it feels. Eventually, being consistent becomes part of who you are. It becomes your default mode. And when you reach that point, when consistency becomes part of your identity, that's when truly amazing things start to happen. That's when you start to achieve goals you once thought were impossible. That's when you start to become the person you've always wanted to be. What I challenge you again is choose one area of your life, one small action, and commit to doing it consistently every single day for the next 30 days. Force yourself to be consistent, no matter what life throws at you. No matter how you feel, show up and do that one thing. It won't be easy. There will be days when you want to quit, days when you question whether it's worth it. But push through. Force yourself to be consistent, because on the other side of that struggle is the person you're meant to be. The person who achieves their goals, the person who lives their dreams, the person who inspires others through their consistency and dedication. Remember, success is not about being perfect. It's not about never failing. It's about being consistent. It's about getting back up every time you fall. It's about forcing yourself to take that next step, even when every fiber of your being wants to give up. Your future is waiting for you. Your best self is waiting for you. And the key to unlocking that future, to becoming that best self, is consistency. So go out there, force yourself to be consistent. Make it your superpower. Make it your way of life. Because when you do, there's no limit to what you can achieve. When you force yourself to be consistent, you become unstoppable. You become the author of your own destiny. You become the person you've always known you could be. So start today. Start now. Force yourself to be consistent and watch as your life transforms, one consistent action at a time. The power is in your hands. The choice is yours. What will you do consistently starting today? Remember, every great journey begins with a single step, but it's the consistent steps that follow that lead you to your destination. So take that first step, then take another, and another. Force yourself to keep going, to keep being consistent, because that's how greatness is achieved. That's how dreams are realized. That's how lives are transformed. You have the power within you. You have the strength within you. All you need to do is tap into it day after day through consistent action. So go forth, be consistent, and create the life you've always dreamed of. Your journey to greatness starts now, with one consistent action at a time. The world is waiting for the consistent, reliable, unstoppable version of you. So go out there and become that person. Force yourself to be consistent, and there's no limit to what you can achieve. Your future self will thank you for the consistency you practice today. So make that future self proud. Be consistent. Be persistent. Be unstoppable. Your time is now. Your moment is here. Seize it with consistency, with dedication, with unwavering commitment. Force yourself to be consistent and watch as your wildest dreams become your everyday reality. The power of consistency is yours for the taking. So take it, use it, and transform your life. One consistent action at a time. Remember, every day is a new opportunity to be consistent, to take action, to move closer to your goals. Embrace that opportunity. Seize it with both hands. Force yourself to be consistent and let that consistency carry you to heights you've never imagined. Your journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, but it's the consistent steps that follow that will lead you to your destination. So step forward with confidence. Step forward with determination. Step forward with consistency. Your future is waiting. Your best self is waiting. And the key to unlocking it all is in your hands. It's the key of consistency. Use it. Embrace it. Let it transform your life. You have the power. You have the potential. All you need now is the consistency to bring it all to life. So go forth, be consistent, and create the life you've always dreamed of. Your time is now. Your moment is here. Seize it with consistency, with dedication, with unwavering commitment. Force yourself to be consistent, and there's no limit to what you can achieve. The world is waiting for the consistent, reliable, unstoppable version of you. So go out there and become that person. One consistent action at a time. Starting now, starting today. Your journey to greatness begins with consistency. Embrace it. Live it. The power of consistency is in your hands. The choice to be consistent is yours to make. So make it. Commit to it. Live it every single day. Force yourself to be consistent and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. Your future is waiting. Your best self is waiting. And the key to unlocking it all is consistency. So be consistent, be persistent, be unstoppable. Your time is now. Seize it with consistency and let that consistency carry you to the life of your dreams.